Hey, Biscuit Dough Hands fans and the Biscuit Dough Hands clan. This is Biscuit Dough Hands Man, and today I am here with anonymous contributor.
That would be me.
That would be him.
That would be.
Today we are reading a fan fiction, because I have time to say both syllables, called Dripping Yellow Madness by the Tossing Scissors. Illustrated by me, probably.
Maybe. And I guess we'll start off with the prologue. The prologue.
The prologue.
No, the prologue.
The prologue.
All right. It was a peaceful night in free country USA. Bubs had shut off the lights to his concession stand and gone to sleep in a tiny apartment in his basement. Coach Z had shut his locker room door and shoved himself into one of the lockers. Homestar and Pom Pom had just arrived from a wild Monopoly Melonade party over at Marzipan's, the remnants of which Marzipan was cleaning up before tucking in for the night. Strong Bad and the Cheat lie asleep in the basement. The little brother and maybe Tenderfoot 2 show, flaring noisily from their TV. All in one, the nightlife of free country USA was all as it usually was around 2 in the morning. That is, until a mysterious visitor decided to make his presence known. I'm too tired for this. A mysterious figure drifted through the currently abandoned fields and roadways of free country USA. He looked as if he knew where he was and where he was going, but did not know much about the stops in between, as if he had once been to this place, but it had greatly changed since his last visit. He looked angrily down at a piece of paper, with what one could assume to be a map or directions scrawled on it.
Wait, we're reading a Homestar fanfic, right? This is sounding way too serious.
It is. I like it. It was so obviously hasty and messy, it was hard to distinguish what it was. As he took a rest in an empty lot behind the dumpsters, he surveyed his surroundings. A bunch of junk, mostly. He saw an old stop sign leaning against the cinder block to his right, and to his left, an old tire leaning against the fence, separating the lot from the dumpsters. He looked again at the scrawled sheet of paper, then, regaining his composure, stood up and walked gingerly toward what only looked like a small rectangle in the distance.
So that means walking like a redhead walks?
Walked gingerly, yes. In reality, this rectangle was Bub's concession stand. The stranger was halfway towards the stand when he started to make out the distinguishing characteristics of free country's only shopping establishment.
That's not the only distinguishing characteristics he's gonna make out with while he's here. Probably, because it's a fanfic.
He smiled warmly, as if the stand was an old and familiar hunt. bringing back pleasant memories. The visitor stepped through the basketball courts and looked to his left to find a rusty-looking door with a barely discernible sign directly in the middle, reading Men's. He smiled as the sweaty smell of the locker room reached him, an odd reaction for this kind of smell, but typical for free country's residents familiar to it. The stranger took a few more steps past the courts before E was tackled. Proofreading is your best friend by none other than Coach Z himself. The coach had a fierce glint in his eye and an angry tone in his voice.
"What are you doing here, stranger?"
Coach Z demanded in his trademark accent. "Zeddy, it's me." I feel like Jack Nicholson. The strange visitor announced, obviously annoyed that he had been discovered midway through his mysterious travels.
"Xavier! Stan Xavier, is that really you?"
Coach Z said, standing up and allowing the man called Stan Xavier to do the same. Coach Z was obviously beaming. Tough feat for someone without a mouth.
Sorry, that was hilarious.
It was.
Good old Coach X. I never thought I'd see the day when you came from big...
Please don't call me that. And now I feel like I'm doing it.
Ronald Reagan.
Please don't call me that. Coach Z's fellow coach said in a hollow-sounding voice.
Soundine voice.
Soundine voice. Soundine.
Oh, sorry about that, Drippin' Yellow.
No, not that either. The multi-named visitor muttered quietly. Just call me Stan. Coach Z seemed surprised at the man's request, but decided against looking any further into it, and returned to his chipper mood.
Well then, Stan, what brings you back to free country? Well, you know, Bubsy will be so happy to see ya. Oh,
I came here to see Bubs, actually, and I didn't expect any interruptions. He gave a condescending look to Coach Z, who blushed and tried to hide his face from behind his hat.
Well, you know how it is with me and poking my nose into other people's business.
Coach Z said with a light, forced laugh. He and Stan exchanged knowing looks and both flashed forced smiles at each other, as if
both flashed each other?
As if remembering an unpleasant memory that they were trying to disguise as a good fun in their minds. Well, Stan said, changing the subject, as much as I'd...
Love hot. No, this is really well written, but they didn't proofread.
I know. As much as I'd love to see my good friends Bubs again, I don't think the news I'm bringing will make him all too happy. Stan sighed after saying this, and and Coach Z could sense a weight and a burden he had obviously not picked up on before.
Well, let's go to the stand. I'm sure Bubs will be excited no matter what kind of news you bring.
Coach Z said this uncertainly, and walked X'd to Stan.
What?
With a...
Wait, walked to the exit, walked exterior, walked out?
Walked next to Stan.
Oh, okay.
Is what it's supposed to be.
Look, well, this is so good, but they forgot to proofread.
It is. And walked X to Stan with a nervous look in his eye. What did X know that he didn't?
All right. Tune in next time for Chapter 2.
No,
for us, that's in a second.
Tune in next time for Chapter 2, Chapter 1.
They forgot to, when they copy pasted the format, they forgot to,
They forgot. That was a bad copy pasta.
Oh, because that was the prologue. Okay.
Yeah. So
whatever.
it's Chapter 2, Chapter 1.